folks out there listening. Welcome back to episode 10 of This Is Why I Drink. Again, this is Jeremy here. I'm flying solo again for the next few episodes. My good buddies Shaw and CJ, they're working their asses off out there, building their lives, building their careers, and doing a lot of good stuff. And I wish them all the best in that, and hopefully we can get them back in here sometime soon. Before I actually get into the meat and potatoes context of this particular episode, I gotta, vent a little bit about something specific to the area that I currently live in. And I hear from everybody that it's becoming a nationwide issue. I will say beyond a shadow of a doubt, I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and anybody and everybody that's listening from Dallas-Fort Worth, I love the area. You genuinely are mostly nice people. You motherfuckers suck at driving. Oh my God. I'm not kidding. It's so bad. It is the biggest Jekyll and Hyde thing I have ever seen in my life. Nice people get behind the wheel of a car. All of a sudden, you just have roid rage beyond belief. And then it's hysterical. You could cut somebody off, flip them off, do all those things. And then if that same person pulls into the parking lot next to you, you get out of the car and it's like, howdy, neighbor. Sorry about all that. Just, got taken over there a little bit with the aggression on the road, But, hey, praise Jesus. We just made some casserole over here. We're going to watch Cowboys want to come in. Got a couple beers ready. It's fucking insane. I can't. It's night and day. And living in DFW has made me, one, a bigger believer in Darwinism because of seeing all this shit. Number two, it's made me thoroughly believe that we need to develop an aptitude test for driver's licenses and reproduction and distribute that shit nationwide, because I think that'd solve a lot of our problems in general with all the nonsense that's going on. Three, I want to start a business to sell blinker fluid, especially for the younger generation, to see how many dipshits we have out there that would actually buy it thinking it's going to help their turn signals function better. And four, this shit makes me want to drop kick a fucking midget in front of the Pope. It's absolutely insane. I've never seen so much unnecessary bullshit. It literally looks like Carrie Underwood is in there singing Jesus Take the Wheel sometimes. That's how these bastards drive. It's crazy. And I love the area. Again, nothing bad to say about the area itself. Just once you get on the roads, shit. I constantly say this in the cover photo for my Facebook and SoundCloud and Twitter on this says, removing society's cranium from its rectum. Well, most of you fuckers drive with your head up your ass. God bless you. Just thought I'd let you know that right now. And the reason for drop kicking a midget in front of the Pope is because I'm getting older. My vertical's not what it used to be, and the midget's a little bit shorter. So I could actually knock that one out of the park. Anyway, all right. With that being said, welcome back again, episode 10. This has been a lot of fun, and the next topic that I'm going to get into proves beyond a shadow of a doubt what I said in episode 8 about the list of things that we talk about as a society that we never fix. Yeah, we talk about till we're blue in the fucking face. And then when we come back to them, it seems like this horrible new thing. Bah! And we just can't, we're just a bunch of pussies about it. And in episode 9, when I talked about identity politics and identity entitlement, the topic, the meat and potatoes topic of this specific episode, it relates right to that. It's insane because this is the first time I'm actually going to talk about a quote unquote current event in society. And the only reason I'm doing it is because it plays right into everything that we've already discussed. It's absolutely insane when I explain it to you. And what I'm going to talk about is the quote-unquote squad in politics. The 4 freshman congresswomen that are media darlings, apparently, because for one reason, that on the far, far left side, they're just praised to the nth degree. And then on the far, far right, they're just, it's like shooting fish in a barrel sometimes with the level of intelligence that comes out of some of the things they say. It's hysterical. Now, I don't want people to sit there and think, oh, he's a conservative, so fuck him. I'm not listening to this anymore. He can kiss my ass. I do everything within my personal ability to stay as middle of the road as possible on political issues. Now, if some of them just don't make any kind of fucking sense whatsoever, then I tend to lean towards the side that has their head out of their ass the most. Right now, both are buried pretty deep. I'm not going to lie. Both sides are buried pretty deep. And the reason I'm talking about these women in particular is because it's stupid. It's so fucking dumb. Where you've got these congresswomen, whoever is listening out there that doesn't know who the quote-unquote squad is, that's Congresswomen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and Pressley. And you could, I guess, throw Pelosi in there if you wanted to also, even though she's the one that tried to mentor him and really, really welcomed him in. And she's also the one that they constantly take pot shots at, calling her racist. Anytime she tries to say, hey, listen, just tone it down just a little bit. We're trying to build a little bit of teamwork here, so on and so forth. Every time she says, scale it back just a bit, they call Pelosi a racist. It's the dumbest shit on the planet. That's the only good thing since I've ever known about Nancy Pelosi that she's actually done is trying to sit there and say, listen, I'm not saying I don't agree with some of the things you're saying. What I'm saying is let's work on communication so we can actually build bridges instead of just throwing a fucking ton of gasoline on them and lighting them on fire. And these women don't give two shits. As soon as that's said by Pelosi, she's racist, discriminatory. So it's hysterical to me because you've got Ocasio-Cortez who staged a border crisis attack, a quote-unquote concentration camp photo shoot that was proven wrong within a week, that it was an empty fucking parking lot. She was staging this horrifically emotionally tense photo shoot outside of. She's been called an economic illiterate by damn near everybody that's ever listened to her Green New Deal proposal. Even people on the left have called her an economic illiterate. It's just crazy. And she's honestly one of my favorite people to read quotes from. I just butchered the shit out of that one. Because she just sounds so fucking stupid. Now, I don't know her personally. So if I ever had the opportunity to sit down with her and actually have a conversation, it'd be very interesting to see if she is legitimately that dumb and can't form a sentence to save her fucking life. Or if it's an act. Then you've got, moving on to the next one, Rashida Tlaib, who was kicked out of a Trump rally, cussed out the security, yelled into a camera, "You're all crazy." And then as soon as she gets elected, the first thing she says is, "We're going to impeach this motherfucker." I wish I could make this shit up. It's too good. Then you've got Ilhan Omar. There were multiple questions about her citizenship, committing fraud on multiple levels, and she constantly promotes hate against one of our biggest allies in Israel. She promotes boycotts and things of that nature that we would like to believe as a society that we have risen above a little bit. It seems like we're starting to bring back a little bit of the high school hallway drama bullshit in our congressional system. And then you have Pressley. And I don't know a hell of a lot about her. She just seems like, honestly, I'm going to say it. You have Ocasio-Cortez, Latin descent. You have Tlaib and Omar. Okay, one African, one Middle Eastern, both Muslim. And again, nothing against Muslims by any stretch. My buddy Shaw is a Muslim. Love him to tears. All right. He's a phenomenal human being. I believe you could be Muslim, Christian, whatever. And if you're a douche, you're a douche. It doesn't matter. And you have those three mixtures. And then you have Ayanna Pressley. All we really know about her, at least that I did, and I'll be honest, I haven't done a ton of research on her. All I know that really is she's African American. So there's not a lot known about her other than the fact that she fits this narrative to a fucking T of this group of strong-minded, independent women who are all minorities. It's literally as if the first three I mentioned couldn't function unless they had an actual like black African American in the squad with them. So it was like she was the final piece to their puzzle to set all the bullshit that's happened in the last couple weeks on its head. And the one thing that I do know about Ayanna is that she said, and I quote, at a Netroots Nation, some form of gathering, if you will, with a bunch of people. She said, and I quote, because this was on a video on Twitter with her talking into a mic, "We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice." I'm not getting into the LGBTQ thing right now. That's a totally different section I'm going to discuss down the road. It's just hysterical. Again, the fact that she went through all of these things, and instead of saying, yes, we're all different as far as our backgrounds, as far as our upbringing, as far as the countries we may have come from, as far as our sexual orientation and chosen partners, yes, we are different. Well, guess what? That does not mean we cannot work together. That does not mean that we should treat each other hatefully. That doesn't mean we should treat each other with a divisive mentality. Instead, she says, if you're not going to speak for brown people, shut the fuck up. If you're not going to speak for black people, shut the fuck up. If you're not going to speak for Muslims, shut the fuck up. If you're not going to speak for queers, shut the fuck up. That's what she's saying. So tell me, who's really driving division? Like when I read the definition of identity politics in episode 9, all it is, that entire focus is division. It's if you don't do the things we do and think the way that we think, then you can't be a part of us. Okay? I realize that was some of the things that I'm going to say now and I'm going to get into in the future. A lot of people out there that think they're incredibly intelligent and are ultimately going to prove themselves wrong are going to think that, well, he's saying if you don't think his way, then, whatever, screw you. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is use common sense, use logic, use true rational thought processes. Don't get sucked into the overly emotional, semantic, impulsive bullshit. And understand that though we might come from different settings, we still have one nation. And despite differences of opinion, lifestyle choice, whatever the case may be, we all play a part in making sure that this nation continues on and is prosperous and grows not only in financial affluency, that it also grows in morality and character of how we treat each other. Like I said in episode 8, And even episode 7, free thinking is a myth. The moment we realize that we're all just a bunch of fucking lemmings that are trying to find people to hang out with that we enjoy, and then decide what collective cliff we're going to dive off of, then we actually gain a bigger sense of purpose because we realize we're a part of a whole, and our job is to make that whole the best we can possibly make it and learn how to work together. Is it always going to be easy? Absolutely not. Is it absolutely necessary? Yes. And communication is the key. I'll constantly say that throughout every episode that I do on this podcast for however long it lasts. Communication is the key. And right now, as a whole in our country, we suck an AIDS-ridden butthole on communication. I mean, we do. And if anybody takes offense to that phrasing, grow up. That wasn't a knock towards any group or anything like that. It's a gross analogy because we're gross at communication. We suck at it. And we've got to get better at it. Unfortunately, when we have scenarios like this, plus a president who, I will wholeheartedly admit, goes on temper tantrums on Twitter and social media as a whole, he does. I'm not going to sit there and pacify that stuff or sit there and placate to it. Yeah. A lot of the things that he says are childish and unnecessary. I will 100% agree with that. He can be an asshole. Okay? So can these women. And I'll get into it down the road when it comes to the sexism, gender equality, abortion section that we'll go through, that the old phrase, 2 wrongs don't make a right, really does apply here. Can the president choose his wording better? Absolutely. 100,000%. Can these women stop pandering and actually be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem? Oh, yeah. 100%. And if you really add up between the two sides, between Trump's rants and tantrums on Twitter and things of that nature, and these four are creating a much, much bigger wedge in our country than Trump is. Okay? Now, again, I'm not saying everything he does is right. All right? I'm saying these four women specifically are doing things on a larger scale that are wrong right now because they're not trying to truly educate anybody. They're just trying to rally a mob. And every one of them except Ayanna Pressley has been accused of campaign finance violations. Everyone. Ocasio-Cortez. It hasn't come up for a few months. She was accused of laundering money. Tlaib paid herself almost a $20,000 bonus out of her campaign finances after she got elected. Omar was accused of multiple campaign finance violations, yet not a damn thing has come of them. However, we will spend 2, almost 3 years investigating Trump. We won't do shit with these women, though. We'll post articles about it, yet we're not going to do a damn thing otherwise. And all of this has come to light because of the fact that Trump posted a tweet that ultimately said, if you don't like it here, and if you think you can do better, it was directed at one woman, by the way, not all 4. What he said was, if you don't like it here and you think you can do better, then please go back to the country you came from, fix it, prove us wrong that you actually can do it better, show us that you can do it better, and then come back, show us what you did, and we'll do it. And the best part is he didn't mention a single name in that tweet. Yet all four of them immediately stood up and started condemning it as racist, hate speech, xenophobia, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you want to get right down to it, and I'll get into this in the immigration side, xenophobia really just says that you have a fear of somebody else from another country. And again, if we want to get right down to it, there's a lot of people in this world that are xenophobic. Whether they're from Mexico, the United States, Africa, the Middle East, wherever. And that's where education comes into play. But what Trump said was not xenophobic. He was calling people to the carpet on the fact that they keep running their mouths on shit. Yet every plan they presented actually causes more trouble for our country and our economy at the present moment. And it blows my mind that we as a nation have gotten to a point where this is what we do with our time. And I'm going to be completely real with you guys. The only reason these four are getting away with what they're getting away with on the scale they're getting away with it is twofold. They're quote unquote minorities, okay? Which, as our country continuously grows, I don't believe there is such a thing as a minority anymore. I hate that label. I absolutely hate that label. If you are a citizen or a legal resident of the United States of America, I don't believe you're a minority. I believe we just have individuals that can constantly improve upon themselves. So number one, they're a quote-unquote labeled group of minority women. Number two, they're women. It's that simple. If they weren't females, they wouldn't be getting the attention they're getting. And again, I don't hate women on any scale. And I'll get into that more and more in the sexism, gender equality, abortion side. I don't hate women. I simply think it's bullshit that everybody gets in this gigantic uproar over a group of women who have caused more harm than good. I mean, going back to Ocasio-Cortez, she ran Amazon out of New York. And really, to be completely real with you, I don't want to give her that much credit. Unfortunately, I just did. Saying she ran them out of New York, where if Bezos and his guys just looked at each other and said, this shit's not worth it. We don't want to constantly have to deal with her trying to run her mouth and whine and complain about all this. So let's figure out a different plan. All right. So they did. And then the left immediately started trying to sit there and praise her. And she said, yeah, I took down the richest man in the world. So fucking stupid and juvenile. So fucking stupid and juvenile. Yet again, that's where we are at as a country. And it's idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And so many of my friends on Facebook that I have an immense amount of respect for, and there's no hate whatsoever between any of us, they post, and I will never throw any of them under the bus if I'm speaking about a potentially negative topic concerning them. That is not how I operate. I'm not going to do that to friends. I'm not going to do that to people, of course, that aren't in the public eye. If you're in the public eye, you've been given more responsibility. So, yeah, you're going to be held accountable. It's that. I mean, that's just cut and dry. And now, again, my friends, I'm not doing that. If I have something really positive to say, I'm going to give them all the praise and credit in the world. I'm just not going to chuck them under the bus because they posted something that I disagreed with. I will mention it. And one in particular says statements like "send her back" and "go back to your own country" are racist, xenophobic, hateful, hurtful. Stop the hate. This particular individual posts things like this only when it pertains to women, Muslims, and that's pretty much it. Actually, no, and black people. Women, Muslims, and black people. That's the only time this individual ever posts anything about stop the hate. Well, if anybody's listened to these rants of mine that we could hopefully call episodes, I hope that you can tell, like I've said before, I don't give two shits if you tan better than I do. I don't give a damn if you're a female. I don't care about your religion. I care about your character and your conduct and not being a douchebag. Unfortunately, these 4 congresswomen are acting like gigantic snatch pocket douchebags. And they should be held accountable for their character and their conduct. Just as Trump is constantly being dragged through the coals for his, I believe that if he says something that could have really been worded significantly better, then absolutely he should be held accountable for the way he said it and his conduct in that regard because of his position. Do I believe he should pull punches? No. You can say the same thing, just much better and much more effectively. Now, it's great cannon fodder. I won't lie about that. It's great cannon fodder. We got to stop acting like a bunch of fucking kids. I mean, we're literally acting like a bunch of spoiled ass little children when it comes to this kind of stuff. And these 4 women have wasted Congress's time. This whole situation with this tweet last week turned into drawing up a resolution for the House of Representatives to have to vote on whether or not they believe Trump's tweets were racist. They had to vote on condemning them. The Democrats were the ones that pushed this, and they put the House of Representatives Republican Party and the Republican reps into a lose-lose corner. They backed them into a lose-lose corner because if they say, yes, we believe they were racist, well, now the Republicans are going to be like, shit, man, you don't support us? If they say, no, we don't believe they were racist, and then they explain the logic behind why they're not racist, well, then they're going to be crucified by the demos and the far left. It's a lose-lose. And these women, as much as I think they're not very intelligent when it comes to a lot of the shit they say, they're not stupid when it comes to positioning themselves to play a weaponized victim. And that's all this is. They're very intelligent when it comes to positioning themselves in a scenario where, because they're quote-unquote minorities and they're women, they can leverage that and say, well, if you don't sit there and agree with this, then you're oppressing us. Well, they're not fucking oppressing you if they explain it logically and help you get your head out of your ass. It's that simple. Now, the reason I wanted to go through this on this episode is, again, because this shows how broken our entire government is to waste time on things like this instead of really, really honing in on fixing our country. We wasted a week's worth of time defending something that was childish bullshit instead of working on ways to fix the list of problems that I discussed in episode 8. And that's why I wanted to talk about it here, because as I said, we always come back. We always go through that same stupid ass list. And in that week, we talked about racism. We talked about xenophobia. We talked about religion. And we talked about sexism. We didn't move any fucking closer to fixing any of it. individuals like these women have this gigantic following of just mob mentality people that just chant whatever they chant and scream whatever they scream. It's stupid. Now, I don't know them personally. So again, there's no hatred towards them as human beings. I simply don't like what they're doing and how much time they're wasting in our government when we could be really, really fixing a lot of shit. Yeah, we're doing this song and dance constantly to make sure that everybody's diaper has enough baby powder in it so their asshole doesn't get burned. Burn an ass every now and again. It might make them work out better. So, folks, I'm done with this little tirade for this episode. Sean, CJ aren't going to be able to get together with me over the next couple weeks, so I'm going to do everything within my power to wrap up the racism section of this podcast within 1 or 2 more episodes. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to try to wrap this up so that I can move on and hopefully get some feedback through social media and email about what those of you who do listen to this would like to hear next. Forgive me if I seemed a little heated on this one. I do apologize. I guess I care too much about us being able to actually move forward and fix all of this to believe that it's okay for a group of elected officials on the right and left to constantly waste our nation's time. So folks, whoever's out there listening, just know that I appreciate you. Have a great week. And this